Filters. Brake shoes. Variator springs. Woo! Performance clutch. This looks nice. Nice. Hello and welcome back. My name is Patrick. This is Patrick's. Today we are back in the garage and we're going to be replacing the stock CVT on my 2022 Vespa Primavera 150cc iJet 3-valve motor. We're going to be replacing the CVT with basically all Malossi performance parts. We have the Malossi variator. We have the Malossi high flow variator fan, which feeds cool air into the variator. We have the newer designed Malossi CVT belt. It has ridges and angles, which apparently help with efficiency and grip. And then we have a brand new Malossi performance clutch, and I believe this is called the clutch bell. These little things here help to suck more cool air in, and this is a racing style clutch. Lastly, we have different springs for the clutch. I believe, and there might be some different weights for the Malossi variator as well. I'm gonna use what's included right now, but I think once we put the big bore kit, especially when we get to turboing this thing, we're going to have to play around with these different weighted springs and weighted variator rollers. Before we do any of that, past Patrick is gonna pop in real quick. We're gonna do a valve adjustment because the Vespa has 1,600, maybe 2,000 miles right now, and we never did the 600-mile valve adjustment. They're off. So we're gonna do a valve adjustment real quick. We're gonna do a quick 0 to 60, see if it actually affects anything. Definitely gonna improve overall performance and reliability long term though. So I'll see you guys after we do that valve adjustment and we can start disassembling this CVT. Looks like we should be able to. Just gonna remove these 4 bolts. This has never been removed before. This is the spark plug. It's big. All loosened. Let's get that out. Everything looks super clean in here. I just need to figure out a way to get this out. It's attached to the hose. There's a hose attached right here. I don't know how to remove that hose clamp. Can't find my wire cutters, but I was able to get in and cut that clamp with this, like sheet metal shears. So this hose right here, this is what's keeping it. Come out then. Ew. That gasket is not flat, so we're gonna reuse that. Although I think we're replacing it when we do the big bore kit anyway. I think my kit of gaskets came with the replacement. Now in here, there's a little tick mark for top dead center, and it matches up with that mark right here. I have to move that just a little bit over here. Turns out you don't have to prop the wheel. That is top dead center right there. It's got those fuel gauges. So guys, that was a little tricky, but factory specs for the inlet and the outlet are 0.08 millimeters or 0.00315 inches. These are tight. I'm gonna double check that I am at top dead center because these seem like they have no movement. So guys, I guess this is kind of what I get. I had never done a valve adjustment on these, and these two, it's a 3-valve, these two intakes are smaller than 0.04 millimeters. This engine was not getting nearly as much air as it should have been to be performing optimally. Let's try to crack that, and then we adjust with that. Now everything about this is a little trickier because it's in the engine. I don't have a smaller needle nose. I gotta find my Leatherman. Yeah, guys, those valves were so tight. That's the clearance. Guys, we might see crazy gains just from having this clearance. Hey, I think that's about right. Wow, I can't believe how out of spec these were. I guess it's not surprising. I'm the only one that's probably going to be surprised. You guys are going to be like, oh, you should have adjusted your valves immediately. From what I see, Robot at Scooter West says they're oftentimes tight from the factory. And then it's 0.08 millimeters for the exhaust as well. They are now at 0.08, as it says in the boot, in the bucket. There's a little description. It says 0.08 millimeters is what the valves are supposed to be adjusted to at top dead center. So that's what we have done. And we're gonna put this valve cover back on. And we're gonna do another 0 to 60. See what affected it, since it wasn't optimally valved. I think we might see a difference. Torque setting on these 8 foot-pounds. Everything else is torqued down. Gotta put on that hose clamp. We got a new hose clamp because I had to cut it off and they're not reusable anyway. Spark plug thing. It's like a whole ass thing. Hey, before I put that back in there, I'm gonna do the hose clamp. All right, hose clamp installed. I use an 18 to 16. Come on, buddy. Get up in there. Hey, this should be installed. Nothing should leak. Let's roll it out of the shop. Turn it on with this cover off. Just double check nothing leaks. Take it out for a spin. Moment of truth. Nothing's squirting oil, so I say that's good. Let's go take it out for a ride. Well, again, I can't notice a difference just driving, but the valves were tighter than 0.04 millimeters, and they're supposed to be at 0.08 millimeters. So I'd say we should get some improvement from that. Goodness gracious. 1, 2, 3, go. So first we have to remove this. This is a hose. I don't know where, not sure where it pulls the air from. I think just inside the frame. Probably to prevent debris from getting in. And then this is just what that fan, the CVT fan, sucks air in from. Just 3 screws. And then we have to pop this off. It's just like a trim pry tool. Okay, so it looks like I should probably pry from that side. Nice, 19 mil nut. Yeah, I think you can use this tool. Let's see if I can get it off though, without it. Nope, just spins the wheel apparently. Makes sense that they'd have a tool for it. So this is a thin nut right here. Then there is a flat washer as well. Keep these together. And it looks like I'm gonna need to move the air box. Let me see. I need to get at these. Just need a little extension here. There's one more screw right here that was hiding. This is 8 mil. Don't mix it up. These are the gear oil back here. The order in these doesn't matter. There is a clip. There are clips down here. Gotta remove for the breather. That's the brake line clip. This is the breather clip. Yikes, did I just round that? I hope not. This is one of those things that will probably be easier when I have the engine out of the frame, putting on the big bore kit. But I wanted to do this testing to see which of these improvements actually see the most. Can you just do a CVT upgrade? Does that get you to where you want to be instead of spending the money and the time and effort into putting on the big bore kit? Because this, while slightly more involved, is still relatively easy, apparently. We'll see. Definitely cheaper. Aha. Boom diggity in. That's not bad at all. They said there could be corrosion in here, but I don't really see any. Another thing to keep in mind, just get yourself zip ties so you can remove this air box, whatever it is. Get yourself zip ties. There's no need to be working around that whole thing. And this is the oil pan. So this is part of that the oil pan. This should slide right off. Bada bing, bada boom. Before I actually pull that, because I think that all comes out in one piece. Gotta remove that. This is another tool you're gonna need to remove this right here. Comes with these Attaches like so into 2 of these bolts, and it holds this in place. So this is just a bit of a pain to do. Bit of a pain to do with the airbox in. I'm cross-threading that. I'm gonna stop. Oh my god, that was a pain. Goodness. I really hope I didn't cross-thread those. Hey. There are a few washers in there you want to be careful of as well. 2 washers, flat one, and like a concave one. That removes like so. There's another. This removes. That flat washer sits right there. And then you gotta be careful because these roller weights will fall out. You wanna make sure you grab all these rubber grommets. There should be 3 of them. They're not rubber, I guess they're plastic. They sit here. So let's go to the table and assemble the new one. First things first, we're doing this part of the variator. And I wanna see, is there actually a difference? What I'll say is this, I think the Malossi is lighter and the blade angle is slightly different. So it is still 14 blades. And guys, I ordered this directly from Scooter West. You can get this at Scooter West. As far as I could see, you could not order the Malossi variator like fan, nor the performance bell and clutch. I could be mistaken, but I wasn't able to find them and I specifically looked directly on Malossi's website to see if there's anything hiding. It comes with 2 different weights. It's a gram. So these are 9 gram weights. These are 13.5 gram weights. Let's see if the consistency on that. 13.45, 13.53. So these are 13.5 gram weights. Yeah, these are 9 gram weights. Robot from Scooter West, whose video I'm following, suggests using the 13 gram, whether a stock motor or if you're going up to the big bore. Right now our motor's stock. We will be going up to the big bore. Let's assemble. These only fit one way, so that's good. Some rollers are directional, guys. The Malossi work either direction. And they're arranged like so. When it's spinning, these weights push out, which affects the CVT in some way or another. The way this sits in the CVT, rather, is like this. This goes here, goes in the center. Obviously, you have the washers and stuff. And then this, like so. A little tight. Oh, maybe it was just first time. The stock setup has these, like, bronze bushing, which I assume Malossi has taken into account. It definitely would not fit if you tried to transfer those. After spinning it once or twice, it's extremely smooth. I don't think we want grease anywhere near here. So for this side, because these are new and freshly machined, you don't need to scuff them up when you service them. He suggests scuffing them up a little bit. That is kind of done for assembly there, and I just don't want the weights to fall out, so I'm putting it in that direction. This is the old belt. This belt does not need to be changed right now, but this is a performance belt. It's supposed to grip better and just perform better. So we're gonna be installing it since we have this whole thing apart anyway. As with this whole build, this is a performance build. This scooter has relatively low miles. There are a few things that needed to be done. Oil change, brake fluid change. The shocks were kind of shot from, they were stored outside for a while, so it got a little rusted. And tires. Other than that, all of this is for max performance gains, and I'm excited to see what we get out of this setup. Now, this clutch does not need to be replaced. Again, doesn't need to be replaced. There's plenty of life on this. That being said, we're gonna remove this with this nut right here. I had to step on it, so I'm gonna put down something soft and remove this with an impact, and it'll be replaced with the Malossi Performance clutch. You can further disassemble this clutch, really just these screws right here, and replace these springs with different weights. I'm not exactly sure what weight these are, but when we do the big bore kit, probably not necessary, but when we do the turbo, we're almost definitely gonna have to mess with this. That's one of the main reasons we're doing this whole Malossi clutch bell and this, because we want it to be beefier, because it's gonna be taking way more abuse than your Vespa really is ever going to see, unless you're doing stupid stuff like this. And this is that clutch bell. I'm trying to think about weight. You know what, again, the Malossi bell is definitely lighter. One of the other things you'll see too is it has these scoops to help suck in more air to cool down your clutch. It also has these like radial fins here, I believe for cooling as well. Malossi, they make racing parts. I'm gonna wipe this down, and I am gonna scuff this up with some 120 grit because this does feel very slick. I don't really know if that did anything. Just gonna wipe that off. I'm glad I sprayed that down afterwards because I'm not sure if I needed to scuff it, but there was some, I don't even know, a lot of black stuff. And it has significantly increased the friction. This nut right here is actually a 34 millimeter. So I gotta run to Harbor Freight, go grab 34 mil. Ours I have is 32. And it is not large enough. Disregard this wonky ass contraption I have set. Hey, mazel tov. That's pretty simple, honestly. All right, we're just gonna stay on the floor. Reuse this, twists as it comes out. There's grease in there. I'm gonna put gloves on, spread some of that grease around. Keep those on there. This is a Malossi variator spring that came in that one set. Make sure there's that nylon washer and the bottom coupler that allows this to spin freely. This is not directional. Put this back on. And we are upgrading Malossi clutch. It's gonna be hard to show on camera, but I'm going to essentially put my knees on this, torque this down. I'm gonna thread it on by hand because it's a very thin nut and can easily cross thread. And then, that's one thing I didn't do. I'm gonna undo that real quick so I can add thread locker. Just a little. Ooh, well, I guess that's a little more than a little. Blue Loctite right there. I don't know if you can see, but pretty close. That is that. You should be ready to throw all this stuff back in. First thing we're gonna do is install this. You wanna make sure you keep pressure, otherwise those roller weights can come out. The other thing about at-home mechanics, one good thing about doing this whole build in steps is that if I mess something up, I can pinpoint what it is. If I was to have totally disassembled this engine and the CVT and the other stuff all at once, and then it turns out I messed up somewhere, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to figure out which one I messed up. That goes there. So next, we install the driven pulley. I think this is what this is called. And this is directional, so those arrows point towards the engine, towards the front. You want to squeeze this in there. The spring is much stiffer. Okay, goodness gracious. Now, flat washer's over there. So now, whew, a little bit more of a pain than I thought. The sun ain't helping me here. 60 foot-pounds. Boom, 60. This tool is kind of a pain in the butt to use when the engine is in the frame. Boom diggity. Let's torque that down before we connect everything else. Now guys, this might be a little bit of an issue. I might have to lock up that rear wheel The tool that fits the factory bell does not fit the Malossi one. This is 45 pounds. Alright, I need to lock up that wheel. Took it off the center stand. See if that friction helps. Shoved a piece of wood there. Oh, it's the opposite way. Oh God, hopefully I don't break my brake. Something to keep in mind. Don't just use any tool. You can chip the inside of this casting. So I am going to Loctite and impact, and we're just gonna call it a day. I impacted that down. You can see there's blue Loctite on it. Just is what it is, guys. One thing I will do, and this isn't a paint pen, so probably not gonna help. Just so we can double check after the test ride, see if it backed out at all. God, I hope not. So that goes there. I'm excited to take this out for a quick test spin because this is supposed to be, this and the big board kit is supposed to be the most dramatic increase in performance. Look, it shakes more. I'm gonna eat lunch real quick, take this bad boy out, see what that 0 to 60 is. Oh, we're back. And I'm excited to see how this goes. Not sure if I could tell a difference. It feels like the RPMs are different. Like the engine strain itself, I think feels different, but it's so hard to tell. I think we'll be able to tell pretty quickly with the 0 to 60 though. Now there is still a lot of variation you can do, guys. You can tighten, you can get stronger or weaker clutch springs. You can get heavier or lighter rollers, and messing with those you can make the acceleration dramatically increase, or you can slightly increase the top speed. Now Robot said that it's a larger, makes it like a larger gears overall, so it should increase acceleration and top speed. We're not going to be testing top speed today, but we are going to be doing 2 0 to 60s. I don't know, it's so hard to tell, guys. We'll see where the wind is today too. Looks like we have a bit of a headwind maybe. I think that was our fastest 0 to 60. It seemed like we got to 60 faster than any other time. I'm gonna go back and take a look at 0 to 50s. 60 is so close to the top speed of this scooter right now. I think that last 10 miles is kind of like the hardest part for a motor this size, and I think the 0 to 50s we might see more of an increase in acceleration. I think that last 50 to 60 is where everything kind of catches up. Might be mistaken. Let's slow down a little bit so I can talk. Yeah guys, I think that 0 to 60, we might have shaved like half a second or a second off that. I think that's the fastest for sure. That 0 to 20 though just now, I can't remember a time where I've felt like kind of jolted when accelerating this thing. That's kind of the whole point of a Vespa. It's very easy, it's very approachable, and even if you give it full throttle, which will oftentimes, especially definitely with the 50cc, less so with the 150, you're going to be giving it full throttle. That 0 to like 20 was I don't know, it was actually felt pretty fast. Don't get me wrong, this feels fast for a Vespa, for a 150cc Vespa. And it is, you know, don't get me wrong, you could still get yourself seriously injured riding this. It's not a motorcycle. It doesn't have that acceleration. The 300cc Vespas will still probably wipe the floor with this thing as it is right now. See, after some of the other stuff we do to it, we had to have shaved like 20 feet off that 0 to 60. Okay guys, the results are in and I'm super excited. It's a few days since we filmed this video originally, and I'll tell you why in just a second. The way I've been timing this is I have my GoPro on, the helmet, looking at the speedo, and I go back frame for frame and time it from when I actually start the engine to when it hits 60 on the speedo. So when timing it like that, I did a 3-lap run with this new variator. The first run, 0 to 60 on the speedo, 18.12 seconds. The second run, 17.04 seconds, and the third run, 17.09 seconds. The average of all of that came out to 17.42 seconds. Just looking at averages, from the 19.02 before the variator with the exhaust O2 sensor and O2 filter, we were at 19.02 seconds for average. And for the addition of the Malossi variator, we were at 17.42 seconds on average. But looking at the fastest laps, fastest 0 to 60s, without the new variator, 18.9 seconds 0 to 60. With the variator, 17.04 seconds. So we shaved almost 2 seconds off the fastest. So we shaved 1.86 seconds off the fastest times, and on average, we shaved 1.4 seconds. That's crazy. With this whole series, I've been trying to be as scientific, for lack of a better term, with the approach in terms of actually giving you guys measurable results in terms of at least what I'm getting with the addition of each new performance modification I'm making. And in an effort to make that more consistent than my somewhat fallible frame per frame, was I angled to the left, was I angled to the right, was it exactly on the 60 mark on the speedo, I picked up something cool. And what I got here is the Racebox Mini S. This is a GPS, speedo, GPS accelerometer, G-force measure, all that stuff packed into one little thing. And I have it mounted right here on the Vespa. Ideally, for best signal, it should be mounted like this, but it actually worked a charm mounted like this on the Vespa. If I was to cover it or something, that wouldn't be good. But this has something like 10G or something like that. I don't know. It is way more accurate than your phone, or way more accurate than anything else you have in terms of location, acceleration, all of that stuff. With that being said, it allows you, and hopefully I'll be able to show this on screen, it allows you to do a drag session. And from that drag session, you can make custom things that it times. So what I have, it timing 0 to 30 miles an hour, 0 to 50 miles an hour, 0 to 57 miles per hour, we'll get back to that in a sec, and 0 to 60. The reason I have it set to 0 to 57 is something I believe I shared in an earlier video, and something I confirmed today. At least my Vespa Speedo is off by about 3 miles an hour. The Speedo says it's 3 miles an hour faster than it actually is, and I got that suspicion driving past those signs that say, you know, your speed limit going by, and it was always about 3 seconds slower than what my Speedo is saying. And I was able to confirm that doing these laps. I got up to 63 times. On average, it was right around 57 miles per hour, according to the Racebox Mini. I did a few more runs with the variator today, and I got some really surprising results. The wind is all over the place right now. We have, I think, 15-mile-an-hour gusts today. But with that being said, my best and first run of the day today, my 0 to 57 was 13.95 seconds. So that's 60 on the speedo. And my actual 0 to 60, 17.06 seconds. That's pretty crazy. I mean, that tracks with what I did the other day in terms of the speedo, but I actually beat it because my 0 to 57 was 13.95 seconds. This last few miles an hour are a pain. It really struggles to get up to those top end. I mean, 60, 65 is really as fast as this thing will go with its current configuration. That being said, my other two 0 to 57s, and I don't have a 1 foot roll off, opted out of that. So this is straight starting from 0 to 57 or 60 on the speedo. And my other 0 to 60s were significantly slower, 18.35 and 18.47. Now I had gusts of wind hitting me head on for both those 2 second ones, but I think it's really cool. So what do you guys think? I mean, the Malossi clutch and clutch bell, I don't think added to the acceleration or speed at all. If anything, one thing I'm noticing is the clutch spring is a little, I think, too heavy for the setup we have right now, because I have to rev significantly higher before actually getting going. While you could kind of creep slower with the older centrifugal clutch, I think the springs on the Malossi one are a bit stiffer. It's going to help us when we get to the big bore kit, but that's something that I think I've noticed. You hear the engine rev more before you actually start moving. But the clutch and the clutch bell, I don't think added to the acceleration at all. I think it's going to add to the durability, heat dissipation long-term when we start doing crazier stuff like this. One other thing that I didn't realize was available, but I will be adding after the big bore kit simply because it won't come in time. SIP, the German scooter like conglomerate, they're not a conglomerate, but they are like the leaders in terms of performance parts. They make a lot of their own, they sell a lot. Scooter West out in California, great, really great store. I order, as I've said multiple times, I order most of my stuff from them. SIP has a much larger selection. They're just a much bigger company. I think they've been doing it for way longer, and that's what they do. They sell performance parts for scooters. SIP offers a driven pulley with a sharper angle for faster acceleration. And I think that will actually make, again, a significant improvement on the acceleration. In a few days for me and about a week for you guys, I'm going to be adding the Malossi big bore kit, bringing this up to 183 cc's. Along with that, we're going to be adding the Malossi Forcemaster 2.1, which is their newest one, and apparently is adjustable on the user end for air to fuel ratio. And we're going to be doing another 0 to 60. I have to break in the engine about 100 miles before we do that 0 to 60. I'm going to be breaking it in with a heavier oil, which is what Robot over at Scooter West recommends. I'll put the oil that I'll be using as opposed to the oil that you should be running on your Vespas. I'm really excited to see that. I'm sorry I'm nerding out, getting super technical with this stuff, guys, but I'm trying to be super thorough. I'm trying to show you guys exactly the results I'm getting. Keep in mind, this is a almost 4-year-old scooter at this point, 2022 Vespa Primavera 150. I have not treated it well for the first few years of its life. I guess I'm not treating it well now with all this abuse we're going to be putting it through. If you're bigger than me, if you're lighter than me, if you don't have these racks, if you have a more aerodynamic windscreen or you don't have a windscreen, all this stuff is going to vary, but I want you guys to be able to see exactly what you should be able to expect when doing this stuff to your scooters. If you guys like this content, I really would appreciate if you let me know in the comments below. Drop a like, share the video with other nerds that might geek out on scooter stuff like this. Even if you don't have anyone to share it with, you can press the share and copy link. YouTube counts that as sharing the video. You don't actually have to send that link to anyone. I'll catch you guys next week when we add this big bore kit. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.